What if a fake business could make you millions? What if a college dropout convinced billionaires to invest without ever delivering a working product? And what if the most successful scammers didn't just get rich, they got idolized? This is the Money Compendium, where we uncover the weird, the brilliant, and the profitable. Today, we're diving into 10 financial scams that actually worked. For a while. Number 1. The dropout who faked a biotech revolution. Elizabeth Holmes dropped out of Stanford at 19 with a bold claim that her startup Theranos could run hundreds of lab tests from a single drop of blood. She pitched it as a healthcare revolution. The idea was magnetic. Her company quickly soared to a $9 billion valuation, attracting funding from venture legends and major institutions like Walgreens. Theranos relied on third-party machines for most of its tests, while its proprietary device, the Edison, produced wildly inaccurate results. Holmes doubled down, using non-disclosure agreements, tightly controlled lab access, and a carefully curated public image modeled after Steve Jobs, right down to the black turtlenecks and intense stare. For over a decade, she maintained the illusion. In 2015, investigative reporting by the Wall Street Journal cracked it open. By 2018, Theranos collapsed. Holmes was indicted for fraud and later sentenced to over 11 years in prison. But before the fall, she had just about everyone fooled. Up next, how a company turned literal swampland into millions. Number 2. The real estate guru who sold swampland in Florida. In the 1960s, the Gulf American Corporation, founded by brothers Leonard and Jack Rosen, promised luxury living in sunny Cape Coral, Florida. They sold tens of thousands of quarter-acre plots through glossy mailers and cold calls. But much of the land was unbuildable swamp, submerged under water or lacking basic infrastructure like roads or plumbing. Buyers bought lots sight unseen. The dream was beautiful: palm trees, golf courses, and retirement in paradise. The reality? Mosquito-infested marsh. Yet the Rosens made hundreds of millions. And despite public outcry and lawsuits, their sales tactics weren't technically illegal, just deeply misleading. Gulf American eventually collapsed under regulatory pressure and lawsuits. Ironically, parts of Cape Coral are now thriving, just not thanks to the original vision. Number 3. The teen who hacked the stock market. In the chaotic trading frenzy of 2020, Jack Kellogg, then just 17 years old, rose to fame among day traders. Operating through Twitter, Discord, and live streams, he gained a cult following by hyping penny stocks, then quietly selling after his audience piled in. This was classic pump and dump, but dressed up in memes, screenshots of trading gains, and motivational videos. Kellogg claimed to have turned a few thousand into over $1 million, though his exact gains remain disputed. Was it illegal? That's a gray area. If you lie to manipulate a stock, that's fraud. But if you merely share your opinion in a way that moves markets, that's harder to judge. Eventually, the SEC began cracking down on similar influencers. While Kellogg hasn't been charged with a crime, the party didn't last. His content disappeared, and scrutiny increased. For a moment, he was king, but heavy was the crown. Next up, a fake luxury card that fooled Instagram's elite. Number 4. The CEO who sold a plastic card as a luxury status symbol. Before the infamous Fyre Festival imploded, Billy McFarland was already running scams. His first hit? A fake luxury credit card called Magnus's. It was marketed as the millennial answer to the American Express Black Card, a metal card that linked to your bank account and unlocked elite perks. VIP events, exclusive hotel upgrades, private clubs. The truth: most of those perks didn't exist. Behind the scenes, members were double billed, denied access, or ghosted entirely. But the card looked great on social media, and that's all that mattered. Word spread. McFarland made hundreds of thousands, enough to fund his next disaster: Fyre Festival, which defrauded investors and ticket buyers out of roughly $26 million. He was sentenced to 6 years in prison for wire fraud. But the bigger lesson? People will pay for exclusivity. even when the benefits are imaginary. What happens when you apply that same psychology to your own friends and family? Number 5. The MLM that sold soap and a dream. Founded in 1959, Amway is technically a legal direct sales company. But for decades, it's been dogged by accusations of acting like a pyramid scheme. The business model? Sell basic consumer goods, soap, vitamins, cosmetics, but make the real money by recruiting others into the system. Most distributors never turn a profit. In fact, a 2010 FTC report found that less than 1% of MLM participants ever make money after expenses. But Amway survived and thrived by packaging itself in patriotic, faith-friendly, and family-oriented values. New recruits are sold on dreams of independence and passive income. But many end up spending more on starter kits, event tickets, and motivational materials than they'll ever earn back. Legally above board, ethically, highly debatable. It's capitalism wrapped in community and monetized belief. Here's the secret. Most of these scams didn't succeed by hiding. They succeeded by inspiring. People didn't fall for lies. They bought into a future they wanted to believe in. Because in a system that rewards bold claims and personal branding more than truth, the line between scam and startup gets blurry. These grifters weren't just clever, they were aspirational. And for a while, that was enough. Number 6. The coupon app that defrauded major retailers. A tiny startup called Uclip promised to revolutionize the coupon and cashback industry. Their pitch? A sleek app that would automate digital savings for consumers while delivering highly targeted marketing insights to brands. Sounds good, right? But under the hood, it was all smoke and mirrors. Instead of tracking real purchases, Uclip's founders fabricated redemption data, billing top retailers for customer actions that never actually happened. The app was just a shell. There were no real users, no real redemptions. Just clever back-end scripts generating fake activity logs that looked real enough to fool the dashboards. For 2 years, they extracted millions in fraudulent payouts from household name companies. Even more audaciously, they raised venture capital based on these phony metrics, touting explosive user growth and advertiser retention rates. They built a brand around lies, complete with case studies, testimonials, and white-labeled analytics. By the time internal auditors flagged the anomalies, the team had already funneled funds into offshore accounts and disappeared. It wasn't just coupon fraud, it was marketing fraud disguised as fintech. They exploited the blind trust investors place in data and dashboards. And by the time the story unraveled, it was already too late. Startup hype, clean slide decks, beautiful code, no substance. Just ask yourself, what happens when you add celebrity endorsements to that formula? Number 7. The influencer who sold a cryptocurrency that vanished. In 2021, a token called Ethereum Max suddenly started trending, thanks to promotional posts by Kim Kardashian, Floyd Mayweather, and even NBA star Paul Pierce. Their posts looked legit. Thousands of retail investors piled in, thinking they were early on a legit Ethereum spinoff. But Ethereum Max had no real utility, no unique technology, and no roadmap. And it wasn't affiliated with Ethereum in any way. Behind the scenes, the creators of Ethereum Max were executing a textbook pump-and-dump scheme. They loaded up on tokens, hyped it with celebrity buzz, and then dumped their holdings, causing the token's price to crash by over 90% in a matter of days. The influencers cashed their sponsorship checks, the founders vanished, and everyday investors were left holding worthless tokens. In 2022, the SEC fined Kim Kardashian roughly $1.2 million for failing to properly disclose her compensation. Mayweather and others were also hit with lawsuits. But the crypto creators themselves? Gone without a trace. It wasn't just a scam, it was celebrity-endorsed vaporware, and it exposed just how easy it is to monetize trust. Because once you have a pretty chart and some manufactured hype, all you need is one spreadsheet showing fake returns to get people to open their wallets. Now imagine if that spreadsheet came from a guy claiming to run a hedge fund, but all he had was Excel. Number 8. The guy who faked a hedge fund with Excel. Brian Kim wasn't a Wall Street veteran. He was a tech-savvy con artist with a knack for creating convincing spreadsheets. Posing as the founder of a boutique hedge fund in Manhattan, Kim created fake investment reports that promised stable, high returns. He used Excel to generate performance charts, balance sheets, and client statements that looked professional and irresistible. Over the course of several years, Kim scammed clients out of at least $6 million. He used the money for personal expenses, including high-end travel, real estate, and a lavish lifestyle. He wasn't just faking results. He was faking an entire financial institution. And when it all started to crumble, Kim staged one final lie. He faked his own kidnapping in 2011, hoping to delay his arrest. It didn't work. He was eventually captured and sentenced to 5 years in prison. The impressive part: his victims included sophisticated investors, people who should have known better. But a well-formatted spreadsheet and confident pitch can override even the best instincts. Not every scam uses tech, though. Some just use charisma and a little spiritual flair. Number 9. The woman who claimed to channel a billionaire spirit. Meet Linda Green, a self-proclaimed medium and financial channeler who built an online following by claiming she received wealth advice from the ghost of John D. Rockefeller. She wasn't running an app or a hedge fund. She was selling mystique. Green launched a members-only Wealth Ascension Circle, charging $10,000 for access to weekly sessions, where she would channel Rockefeller's ghost to deliver business guidance, stock tips, and high-vibration money rituals. At its peak, the group had hundreds of members, many of them wellness entrepreneurs, coaches, and crypto-curious influencers. Her advice was vague, non-committal, and shrouded in a metaphysical language. Align your wealth frequency, channel ancestral abundance, merge with legacy consciousness. There were no audited returns, no proof of success, but that didn't matter. The promise of secret knowledge from a billionaire spirit guide was seductive enough. Eventually, skeptics and ex-members raised concerns. Refunds were denied. Lawsuits were filed. But the damage was done. Linda Green had already moved on to a new persona. Sometimes the best scams don't rely on hard math or complex code. They just need a powerful story. And in the age of social media, that story only needs to be 30 seconds long to go viral. Number 10. The man who built a Ponzi scheme on Instagram. Bernie Madoff used decades of credibility and Wall Street infrastructure to pull off history's largest Ponzi scheme. But Josh Cartwright? He used nothing but Instagram reels, a rented Lamborghini, and a dream. Cartwright ran a fake crypto arbitrage fund that promised insane returns, up to 30% monthly, allegedly by exploiting price differences across global exchanges. He posted clips of luxury watches, designer clothes, and testimonials from happy investors. He used the oldest trick in the book: pay old investors with money from new ones, but with a modern twist. Instead of monthly reports, he used Instagram stories. Instead of investor statements, he sent PDFs via WhatsApp. For 3 years, no one questioned him. Why would they? The profits kept coming in, until they didn't. When crypto markets dipped and withdrawals outpaced new deposits, Cartwright vanished, along with over $40 million in investor funds. His entire operation was vapor. No licensed entity, no audited books, just vibes, flash, and follower counts. It was the Madoff model rebranded for TikTok, so the next big scam might not come from Wall Street. It might just come from your homepage. Scams don't work because people are stupid. They work by offering shortcuts, dreams, and just enough social pressure to lower your defenses. But even the most profitable lies come with an expiration date. When the countdown hits 0, the fall is always sudden. Now let's say, hypothetically, you made it big on a few fast hustles. What now? These wins are fragile. You can't sit on them. You have to flip that cash into something real and sustainable. Check out our upcoming video, 10 Ways to Flip Fast Money into Passive Income. We'll dive into real strategies, unconventional plays, and scalable systems that can turn a lucky break into a lifelong advantage.